There was once a shop in Britain where the people serving you owned the place, not in spirit, in law. And for over a century, that impossible idea created a feeling customers could sense without anyone saying a word. A feeling that you were not being sold to, you were being looked after. This is how John Lewis Partnership went from Britain's most trusted store to a company fighting to remember what made it special. In 1864, John Lewis opened a drapery on Oxford Street. But the true revolution didn't come from fabric or furniture. It came from his son, Spedan Lewis, who looked at retail and saw a moral problem. Why should the people doing the work not share in the reward? So he did something no major retailer had done before. He gave the company to the employees. They were not staff, they were partners. They shared profits, they shared responsibility, they shared pride, and customers felt it. Because when the person helping you choose a kettle actually owns a piece of the business, service stops being scripted. It becomes personal. For decades, shopping at John Lewis wasn't about finding a deal. It was about removing doubt. You bought a washing machine here because you didn't want to think about washing machines again for 15 years. You bought bedding because it felt like a quiet luxury you deserved. You bought furniture because you expected it to outlive trends and sometimes your mortgage. And above it all, there was a sentence so powerful it became folklore. Never knowingly undersold. You didn't check prices elsewhere. You didn't need to. John Lewis had already done the worrying for you. It wasn't the cheapest, it was the safest. By the early 2000s, John Lewis had achieved something retailers dream of and rarely attain: universal trust across generations. Grandparents, parents, and children all agreed on one thing: if you want it done properly, go to John Lewis. Their Christmas adverts didn't feel like adverts, they felt like shared national moments. Living rooms fell quiet when they aired, not because they were selling products, but because they were selling a feeling Britain recognized: warmth, care, home. And for a long time, that was enough, until the world began moving faster than warmth could keep up. Never Knowingly Undersold was designed for a high street world, a world of windows, price tags, and Saturday shopping trips. Then the internet arrived, and with it, infinite price comparison. Suddenly, honoring that promise meant matching prices with retailers who had no stores, fewer staff, and lower costs. Retailers like Amazon. The promise didn't change. The world did. Margins began to thin, costs remained heavy, and the sentence that once built trust started quietly draining the business that upheld it. John Lewis believed something deeply human. People want to touch before they buy. Sofas, mattresses, cookware, curtains. They trusted the physical experience, the calm lighting, the knowledgeable partners, the reassurance of space. And for years, that belief was correct. But customers were changing in ways that felt invisible at first. They researched online, they compared online, and eventually they bought online. Sometimes from John Lewis, often from someone else. Their beautiful stores were becoming showrooms for competitors, and the shift was slow enough to ignore until it wasn't. Here lies the quiet tragedy. The employee-owned structure that made John Lewis extraordinary also made rapid change incredibly difficult. Decisions required consultation. Consensus took time. Tradition carried weight. While lean digital retailers moved like speedboats, John Lewis moved like a dignified ship. Careful, thoughtful, slow. The market did not wait for careful. Costs stayed high, agility stayed low, and pressure built quietly beneath the surface. New strategies arrived with confident language: experience retail, modernization, brand refresh, home focus. But beneath every plan was a deeper question nobody could answer clearly. What is John Lewis now? A premium store? A family store? A heritage store? A department store in a world that no longer loved department stores? Fashion struggled. Home held on. Electronics became brutally competitive. Sales wobbled. Profits thinned. And then something happened that had never happened before. Losses. When the pandemic hit, department stores became liabilities overnight. Huge, beautiful spaces, empty. Historic branches closed. Birmingham, Croydon, others followed. Then came the moment that struck at the heart of everything. For the first time in history, the John Lewis partnership did not pay the partner bonus. The symbolic heartbeat of the entire model paused, not because they wanted to, because survival demanded it. The romance of the past could not pay the bills of the present. In 2022, John Lewis did something once considered unthinkable. They retired, never knowingly undersold, after nearly 100 years, not because it stopped mattering, because it became impossible to sustain. It was a quiet admission that the world this promise was built for no longer existed, and with it, a piece of the old John Lewis disappeared forever. Fewer stores, more online investment, operational restructuring, sharper focus on what worked. Slowly, losses narrowed, stability returned. The business did not collapse as some predicted, it adapted. But adaptation came with a question that lingers in the air when you walk through the doors today. Walk into John Lewis now. It is still pleasant, still respectable, still good, but does it feel like the place your parents trusted blindly? Does it feel like the shop where the person serving you owns a piece of the place? Or does it feel like a very well-run retailer navigating a difficult century? The products are fine, the service is polite, but the invisible pride, the one you used to feel without knowing why, is harder to detect. John Lewis did not fail, it survived. But survival required trading things that never appear in annual reports. Pace for tradition, emotion for efficiency, promise for practicality, and perhaps most painfully, magic for modernity. Somewhere in a British home, there is a John Lewis duvet cover bought in 1995, still soft, still perfect, still trusted, a relic from when buying something from John Lewis felt like buying it for life. The company remains, the trust remains, in a quieter form, but the certainty, the romance, the unspoken pride belongs to another era. Do you remember when John Lewis felt different? Share your memory below, because this was never just a shop. It was a feeling Britain once understood without explanation.